Hiya! And welcome back to Sileo Tales of a New Dawn. Oh dear. It's a game that... Hello. The game that taught us that Lucas is secretly soft. Okay, let's hide that. Bring that back out. And let's just jump right in. Oh, hello! Like I just mentioned, I did actually see the art. I really did appreciate it. It was a very pleasant surprise. Wow, this is such an amazing view. Dude, you're like the master of great views or something. Can't see Somerville from up here, though. Indeed, it is obscured by the mountains to the south of us. Perhaps if I knew would be in the company of two Somervillians, I might have chosen another spot. I suppose I'll defeat the purpose. I did choose this location deliberately, after all. You may not be able to see Somervale, but you may be surprised to learn what you can see from here. Looking outward, I could see little but sprawling open farmland miles below us, stretching as far as the eye could see. But vaguely on the horizon, I could make out something else. Do you see it, Aiden? Yeah, I think so. Surely you of all people know what it is. Okay. I took a moment to ascertain my orientation. We had driven north from Woodcrest and walked exclusively towards the east, as confirmed by the sun's position overhead as it gradually fell forward toward the horizon. I scratched my chin. So many tall buildings, so very far away. There was only one place that it could possibly have been. Cydonia City. No way! But doesn't it take a whole day to get there? Indeed, via train, although that route is hardly the most direct. Even then, you could reasonably expect 3 or 4 hours by car. Thankfully, we have clear skies and elevation on our side. It is not always possible to see Cydonia from so far away. Now, if there are no objections, I propose we set up camp here. Sunset will not arrive in short order, and believe me, from this vantage point, you will not want to miss it. Yep. Like, 0 objections from me, dude. Aiden? It was a moment that felt almost profound. Here I stood atop one of the highest points in the entire country, surrounded by new friends, and the man whom I was so deeply infatuated with, staring upon the visage of the life I had only just left behind. Doing what I'd done, throwing my entire life away and just running away. It was such a risky and foolish move, one that so easily could have backfired and left me homeless, or worse, and yet I was so unbelievably happy. I beamed to myself. My crazy gamble had paid off big time. I had mustered the courage to dive headfirst into the unknown, leaving behind a familiar misery, and I had no regrets, not a single one. Aiden, are you happy if we set up camp here? I couldn't think of a better place. Thank you, Ty, this is amazing. Ty smiled warmly while gently stroking the fur on the back of my neck. Then, each of us removed our packs and began unloading our supplies. Within my bag, I carried some food items, cookware, various odds and ends, and finally 2 sleeping bags, of which one seemed almost peculiarly large. Ty's pack contained more food and cookware, a large tent, and a large black carry bag containing an acoustic guitar. The prospect of him playing music for us was an exciting one, but we had to remain focused on the task at hand. Russell's pack contained Axel's tent, sleeping bags for them both, even more food and cookware, as well as some various items including Ty's flashlights. And finally, Axel's pack contained a number of different things, including the equipment we would be needing to start our campfire, all of it utterly drenched with river water. Oh dear, that is quite the shame. I'm sorry. No, please do not apologize. I assure you it is quite alright. Just get some leaves. Leaves and grass. I'm gonna go camping with my grandparents. Fire with leaves and grass, and shockingly marshmallows. Like, marshmallows, leaves, and dry grass. That's a good fire starter. But how will we start a fire now? We can't go camping and not have a campfire. Did you bring any spares? I'm afraid I did not know. Thankfully for us, where there is a will, there is always a way. Might I request that the two of you finish setting up camp? Sure thing, my dude. What have you two got in mind? Aiden and I will head into the nearby woods and see what fire-making materials we can conjure up. Hopefully we will not be gone long, but I know not how lucky we will be. Sweet, not having a fire would be a total bummer. I'm glad you, know what you're doing, man. Good luck. Well then, Aiden, shall we? Definitely. Would like to get a fire going before it gets too cold out. I think we all know how this is going to go. We all know exactly how this is going to go. The two of us departed from our camp, heading over the dense woods situated on the opposite end of the campsite from which we'd arrived. As the two of us wandered through the woods side by side, I realized that I really didn't have a proper idea of the sorts of things needed to start a fire. So forgive my ignorance, but what exactly are we hoping to find out here, and how do we know when we found it? Ty stopped dead in his tracks, sniffing the air once more. He turned towards me, his expression that of someone who has run out of patience. I know this is sudden, but want to ask you something, and it is going to sound strange. Huh? Oh, sure. Would you be uncomfortable if I checked your scent? Wait, what? Really? Why? Please, I need you to humor me just this once. Did he think that I was the source of the strange scent he kept catching? No way, wouldn't he have recognized it right away? Is it because I didn't shower after I swam? I was confused, but did not see a good reason to refuse Ty's request. Okay, what do you need me to do? Just hold still. Ty quickly knelt down and began sniffing my waist. He worked his way backwards, sniffing around my tail and my butt. He spent quite some time in that general area before his search brought him back around the front. His pattern seemed to work in a wide circle, gradually locking in on a specific area, the exact point of my junk. His nose then grew closer and closer until I could feel it brushing against it through my pants. Finally, he reached his hand... I knew it. I knew that was you I could smell. Geez, that bad, huh? I'm sorry. Guess I thought what with camping and all, that I was going to smell no matter what I did. I guess I should have had a shower after all. What? Oh dear Aiden, I did not mean to imply that you stink or anything. Quite on the contrary. I find your various scents to be rather pleasant. Eh? What do you mean various? I first picked it up when we were walking. The wind must have blown from just the right angle and I got a noseful. It seemed out of place somehow because I could have sworn it was a scent of arousal. Thinking back, I remember that I'd gotten slightly aroused not long before he picked up on something, but how? There was no way, surely. How the hell do you know that? Oh man, how embarrassing. I really hope Axel was telling the truth. Surely your nose cannot be that much better than mine. On the contrary, it is my understanding that between the four of us, yours should have reigned supreme, but it is quite normal for the brain to tune out of one's own scent. I'm surprised you did not notice. And what about Axel? If you could smell me, surely he could too. Now, I can only speculate, but I would not expect our noses to differ greatly in terms of their capabilities. However, a lack of sensory exposure, or training, if you will, could provide an explanation. What do you mean? Perhaps canids work a little differently. But for us felids, well, let me explain it like this. No matter how many clouds there are in the sky, they will only ever mimic the shapes of that which you are already familiar. What? Apologies, such riddles rarely stick the landing. An untrained nose is little better than static on an old TV set. You have to already know what it is you are looking for. And you knew the scent belonged to me? It was one of very few possibilities, but I did not know for sure until only moments ago. I see. And now that you've confirmed it, I take it you'll have an easier time recognizing it next time? I certainly expect so, and eagerly look forward to it. Ty and I shared a smile, and I thought about all that I had learned. Thinking back, the only scent I could properly recall from Ty was that of his cologne. I was unfamiliar with Ty's natural scent, and now I felt as though I was missing out. Is there something the matter, my dear? I guess it's dawned on me how little I actually use my nose. The way you make it sound, I've been missing out. Well then, might I propose a small contest? Huh? Here, take these. It should help even the playing field somewhat. Ty reached up to his face and removed his sunglasses before handing them to me. Confused, I put them on my face. It isn't that bright, you know. That is a good look for you, Aiden, but that is not why I gave them to you. Uh-oh? I sheepishly took his glasses back off, turning them over in my hands. What else does one do with a pair of sunglasses? Might have suggested you give them a good sniff. Oh, right, duh. I held Ty's glasses up to my nose and inhaled deeply. I processed for a moment. I sensed something. I inhaled again, this time the scent coming through a little more clearly. Huh? I exhaled, flattening my lungs before committing to a long, steady inhale. Was this it? Was this Ty's scent? Did I have it? And here I was thinking you spent so long down there just because you're a horny bastard. It actually kind of works that way, huh? Oh dear, I am insulted that you think so lowly of me. Although I may have enjoyed an extra moment or two at your expense. I fucking knew it. You were nosing my balls for the thrill of it. Well then, perhaps if you win, you will have the opportunity to return the favor. I plan on...
Self-voicing enabled. Aiden, I plan on doing a lot more than that. Self-voicing disabled.
My curiosity certainly is piqued, although perhaps you would like to know what we were doing first? Go on then. The objective is simple. Think of it like a hide-and-seek with a twist. You close your eyes and count to 30 and I will hide somewhere close by. You then have 3 minutes to find me. What? How am I supposed to do that? You have an item bearing my scent. Use it. Track me. And do not forget about your other senses either. You will be needing them if you wish to find me in time. I didn't like how he ended that sentence. I swallowed nervously. A tiger versus a husky? Hardly seemed fair, especially in the orange hues of the early evening. And just what did he mean by in time? What happens after 3 minutes? I begin hunting you. The winner is the first to capture the other. How that is achieved matters not. Winner takes all. Winner takes all? What does that even mean? It means whatever the winner wants it to do. I knew this was a bad idea. Even with a 3-minute head start, how was I supposed to track him down? I could barely track my own breakfast, let alone a tiger who actively wishes not to be found. We're really doing this, huh? Is this not a good opportunity to find out just what you have been missing? I sighed. Ty seemed intent on playing his games with me. I strongly doubted this was going to go well, but what the hell? Okay, I'm closing my eyes. See you soon, my dear. Oh. Hold up. Here we go. Smug dork. Oh, he's up to something. He is up to something. And I don't know what it is. Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be something. As I silently counted the seconds in my mind, I heard Ty's footsteps travel further and further away until I could no longer make them out. As my counting continued, I held Ty's sunglasses up to my nose and began working to acquire a scent. I sniffed repeatedly as I turned and rotated the glasses, making sure I got every angle. 28, 29, 30. I opened my eyes. Ty was nowhere to be seen, as expected, but from what I had heard, I was all but certain he had started out traveling northeast, and thus I began heading in that very same direction. Okay, I'm gonna go, close my door, because, yeah. While walking, I made sure that my nose was constantly sniffing, hoping to pick up something familiar. At first, it almost seemed pointless, my nose completely failing to return any useful information. But then, the very same scent I had acquired from the sunglasses, it traveled directly south from my position. Huh, what do you know? Perhaps Ty really was onto something here. I began to follow the scent, moving briskly to avoid wasting precarious time. A mistake that only cost me more when I had to double back and reacquire the trail. I followed more carefully as the scent turned a hard right around a rotting tree trunk and down a small dip in the terrain. Let's just pull the sensor bar up. The scent had grown stronger. I couldn't have been far behind. I continued to follow as the scent sneaked around, almost as though Ty were trying to shake me loose in my pursuit. Nice try, I thought to myself as the scent led through a thick patch of tangled undergrowth. Things were going well. Well, that was. Until I reached a position near the middle of the coarse shrub. His scent almost seemed as though it went in every direction all at once. It took a moment to process what my nose was telling me. He had deliberately scrambled his path, walking in jagged loops and uneven shapes, making turns at sharp and unpredictable angles, all the while deliberately crossing his own path many, many times over. I looked around nervously, scared that he would use my confusion to catch me unaware. I did not know how much time had passed, but if he wasn't already hunting me, he certainly would be very soon. Thankfully, I saw no trace of him. I stood still and held my breath, listening for any sound that could have possibly belonged to him, but all I could hear was the sound of the forest residents, chirping and singing away among the treetops. Having exhausted my options, I fell back on my nose as I sniffed frantically around my immediate vicinity, picking up disparate and mismatching fragments of Ty's path, each one more contradictory than the rest. I focused carefully on information my nose had gleaned, desperately trying to extract some vague clue from all of the confusion. And then I finally saw it, a path that circled around my position in a wide arc before sharply turned inward, becoming muddled and unclear. Whatever Ty had done had forged a poorly defined path right through the intersection of the others. It served to blend in with the sensory noise, creating only more confusion as it quietly slipped away, content in having not drawn any attention to itself as it did. It was a cunning trick, one that I was proud of having bested. I could not help but wear a smug grin as I honed in on that new path, following through more and more of the twisted vegetation until it came to an abrupt halt among a dense patch of trees. I sniffed around, desperately trying to regain scent. Alas, my efforts bore no fruit, as it seemed as though it had vanished completely in that very spot, right at the foot of a tall tree. I felt a chill run down my spine as he watched me from above. Poised to pounce at a moment's notice, despite being nearly paralyzed with fear, I forced myself to keep moving as not to alert him that his cover had been blown. I scratched my chin, doing my very best to appear clueless and lost, all the while my ears were pricked right up, waiting for any sound that could possibly forewarn of an attack. I wouldn't be waiting long. The sound of a snapping branch propelled me into action as I threw my entire body weight towards where Ty had pounced from, just barely slipping beneath him as he twisted in midair in a desperate attempt to compensate for my evasion. Ouch. That's all he says. Just ouch. I picked myself up from the ground, brushing debris from my clothing as the dirt kicked up by Ty's sudden impact slowly settled. Cal was trying to climb to his feet, yet seemed to be encountering some difficulties in doing so. His red sweater vest, which had become snagged on a loose branch, was pulled over his head and away from his body as he struggled in place. It seemed as though he had become snagged and was half naked to boot. I saw a golden opportunity. Cautiously, I approached, wary of entrapment and poised for evasion, but Ty remained in place, seemingly having accepted his demise. I knelt beside him, my doubts slowly giving way to a smug sense of satisfaction once again. Well then, it looks like I won. Sure does seem that way. I was almost certain I would have thrown you off my trails long before you found my hiding place. You did well. Thanks, you were right. That was actually very enlightening. We should do this again someday, but I think we had best be getting back to the matter at hand. Sunset can't be far off and we still haven't found what we need to start the fire. Indeed, you are quite right. Ty shifted in place. That is when I noticed that both of his arms have become tightly ensnared by the very same wild and twisted undergrowth that carpeted the forest floor as far as the eye could see. I do not suppose I could trouble you for some assistance? I was about to oblige, leaning in and helping him loose. That was until I remembered something he had said before the hunt had begun. Come to think of it, you never were clear on what winner takes all constituted. Oh, well, I had hoped, well, you know, I wish to get a little more close and personal with that delightful scent you carry. Close and personal, eh? And here I was thinking we were taking things slow. Yes, you are right. I apologize for that implication. Mind you, I had anticipated that you would win, so there's no harm, right? It was blatantly obvious that Ty was trying to bluff his way out of the situation. I wasn't buying it. You know, I think the opposite is true. I don't think you expected to lose. Aiden, I had nothing but the utmost faith in you. That I swear. I don't believe that for a second. But the fact remains I'm the winner, and you know what? Yes? Winner takes all. Oh dear. I wrapped my fingers around the waistband of Ty's pants, making sure to dig my claws in just enough that it hurt. I then leaned forward and put my mouth to his ear, whispering my next words. Sidonia seems fitting. What? That's your...
Self-voicing enabled. Aiden, that's your safe word. But you're tougher than that, right? Self-voicing disabled.
God. Oh God. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't have skip enabled. I am very uncomfortable. Oh God. Oh God. You don't want to. You don't want to know. But if you really want to know, I guess you can download the game and play it yourself. This is awful! Ah! Ah! Ta-da! One campfire is promised. Oh wow, you found the stuff! Great job! It's all over. Nice work, dudes. I simply cannot take any credit after all. It was Aiden here who did all the hard work. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. Done. Wipe that smile off your face, Ty. That's awful. Thanks, Aiden. What? Oh, yeah, thanks. Really, when did you change your clothes? Well, you see, much like our dear friend Axel here, I too have tumbled into a river today. You fell into? Indeed, that will teach me not to watch where I step. That's so funny, my dude. I can't believe you did that. I feel included. Hold on. Then why is Aiden's fur wet? Well, simply because he, with zero hesitation, hopped right in to rescue me. But his clothes are dry? Well, naturally, he tore his off beforehand. He did not bring a spare set, you see, right, Aiden? Oh, yeah, I was butt-ass naked. Man, you're like such a thoughtful dude, Aiden. Indeed he is. Such a handsome and totally nude young man coming to my rescue. He truly is my hero. Axel started to laugh, followed promptly by Russell. Ty and I then quickly joined in, albeit somewhat nervously as we prayed that the terrible bluff had sufficiently fooled our companions. As cheerful laughter flowed freely among our group, we each took up positions along the outer edge of the outcrop our campsite was situated upon in order to get the best possible view of the sunset, and Ty was completely right. The view was simply incredible. He had taken position immediately to my right, so close that I could feel his mildly damp fur brush against mine with every small motion. After several moments of silence, Ty turned his gaze toward me. I do hope you have enjoyed yourself thus far. I am particularly cognizant of the fact that I have never properly ascertained whether camping was your forte. If I didn't want to come, I wouldn't have said as such. And you know, this has been so much more enjoyable than I'd expected. This spot is beyond anything I could have imagined. I still can't believe you see Sidonia from this far out, and I have never seen such an amazing sunset. Ty reached up to his face, removing his glasses and tucking them away in his pocket before turning back to me, his violet eyes shining in the evening light. Woodcrest is full of beautiful locations like this, not all quite so remote. However, I am of the opinion that this is one of the very finest, and you deserve nothing less. I looked up towards Ty, his warm and tender smile giving me butterflies as we locked eyes. We both leaned closer to one another before sharing a loving kiss. I think we all know the noise that Axel is making. You know. Scree. Aw, so cute. Ax, you're ruining the moment. But Axel, lacking the words to properly explain how he was feeling, instead failed to suppress a dramatic squeak, something that sent Russell into a fit of laughter. Looks like our spectators are enjoying the show. I fear that were we to keep this up, Axel may burst like an overinflated balloon. I laughed, imagining the poor cheetah exploding like some kind of cartoon character, his spotted fur being all that remained where he once stood. Children do explode from time to time. I think you know what I'm laughing about if you've seen Flash gets his Harry Potter special ed. I'm a Hufflepuff. I then returned my focus to the horizon, watching as the last slivers of sun disappeared behind Sidonia, casting gargantuan shadows across the landscape below. Hey, Ty? Thank you. Today has been amazing. We should do this again sometime. In the final moments of evening light, I saw him smile brightly in response to my words, only for that smile to twist into a distinctive look of mischief. I would love that, and who knows, maybe we'll have another unfortunate accident with the firewood. The two of us shared a hearty laugh before Ty, still bearing his wide and handsome smile, reached his arm around my waist and slipping closer into him as I nuzzled my nose into his soft chest. Bit by bit, the orange hues of the skyline faded away, only to be replaced by the calming blues of the nighttime sky, until finally our party found itself immersed in darkness. I think that is our cue to start this fire, would you not agree? After all the work we went through getting the materials, it would be a shame not to. I got the stick. There's going to be a dead body. We're going to make the dead body. Ty chuckled slightly at our inside joke before planting a quick peck on my cheek and climbing to his feet. I followed closely in his wake as he knelt down beside the fire before stealthily looking toward Axel and Russell once more. Russell was digging into his bag while Axel rolled up a previously damp sleeping bag and several pairs of clothing he had been drying out in the evening sun. Seeing his opportunity, Ty retrieved a lighter from his pack, using it to quickly ignite the bonfire as quickly and inconspicuously as possible. Lovely. A terrific campfire, if I do say so myself. Yay! Whoa, he got that going in record time. Isn't he so talented? Oh, please, you flatter me too much. Now, I hope your boys are hungry. Ty circled the camp, collecting up various pieces of outdoor cookware he'd brought along with us before he began to assemble some sort of makeshift stovetop above the fire. He then retrieved a pan, a set of knives, a chopping board, and a spatula. Whoa, whenever Dom and I go camping, we always just pack our meals. Real neat, huh, Axe? It's like a totally portable kitchen. Come now, I hardly do things in half measures. Russell, would you mind handing me the vegetables? I believe I stored them in your pack. Russell turned to his pack and reached within, retrieving the requested vegetables as Ty held out his hand expectantly. Russell stopped short of handing them over, however, instead holding his own hand out in similar fashion. Hand over the knife, dude. Eh? Dude, I'm totally helping out. It's, like, not fair expecting you to do everything. Oh no, it is quite alright, I assure you. You should relax and enjoy the calming atmosphere. Man, like, nah, you brought us out here, you're feeding us, and you even went out of your way to make sure we had a fire. I am helping, dude. End of, like, story, man. Ty and I locked eyes as we shared a smug grin. Alas, Ty saw little choice but to accept Russell's aid, lest he risk blowing our cover. He collected up the cutting board and the knives, passing them carefully to the shark. I can only concede and graciously accept your aid, then. If you would not mind chopping these vegetables, I will get to work on the rest of the culinary tasks. Sorry. Axel, whatever are you sorry for? I want to help too, but, when Dawn was teaching me how to make myself cheese toasties, I, set the kitchen on fire. Goodness me. But please worry not. I want nothing more than for you to relax. And that goes for you too, Aiden. I have enough hands in the kitchen already. You're a pain in the ass sometimes, you know that? I think if anybody has been a pain in the ass.
Self-voicing enabled. Ty, I think if anybody has been a pain in anybody's ass today, it would be you, my dear. Self-voicing disabled.
Oh, shut up. I gave Ty a playful smack on the arm, causing him to erupt into laughter after once again as Axel and Russell shared a look of mild confusion with one another. You two don't want to know. With Russell's expert assistance, it took the duo a little time to prepare our meals, some sort of makeshift stir-fry featuring a medley of vegetables and various different preserved meats, all brought to life by a delicate blend of herbs and spices. I found it somewhat amusing that even hours from civilization, I still ate better with Ty than I did back home with Diego. Another of his many talents I was so incredibly grateful for, and something that I would long benefit from greatly in the long run. Having finished our delicious meals, Ty had accidentally let slip the presence of his acoustic guitar, which resulted in both Axel and Russell applying pressure, supported by none other than yours truly. Come on, please. Just one song, my dude, that's like all we ask. Yeah, Ty, come on, let us hear that sexy voice of yours. Dear oh dear, the three of you are utterly incorrigible. I suppose I cannot rightly refuse now, can I? Ty chuckled, his feigned reluctance fooling nobody as he playfully conceded to our demands. Very well, let us have some music. Yay! This is going to be, like, super cool. Ty retrieved the large black carry bag from his pack and removed the guitar from it before slinging it over his shoulder. He quickly checked he was in tune, making small adjustments on the knobs on the headstock. Any requests? I know. Let's gather around the campfire and sing the campfire song. See a yippee, a fiery, a so windy song. See a yippee, a fiery, a so windy song. Have you written any songs since the Black Claws disbanded? Oh, to be quite honest with you, I've barely picked up my guitar since then. Things have been awfully busy. Ah, I see. But I did find the inspiration to write a song a while back. I never quite finished working on it, but nonetheless, I'll be happy to play it for you should you wish. Yes, please. Yeah! Wonderful. Now then. Ty got himself into a comfortable position, his hands poised to begin playing. This is a song about the loneliness of eternity. Ty began to play, the beautiful sounds of his instruments serenading our ears and sending a calming wave across the group. The effect only grew in intensity as he began to sing, his powerful voice captivating his entire audience. What followed was a beautiful piece, exploring a fictional character who remained forever young as his peers fell prey to the persistence forward march of time. A man forced to watch everybody he knew and cared for wither and die. A subversion of the typical desirability of immortality, Ty's song instead depicted it as a terrible and unwanted curse, the source of an unending eternity of misery and loneliness. It was a truly remarkable demonstration of Ty's incredible talent for songwriting that he could make this fictional character come to life in our minds, that we could relate to what he was feeling, even if he was merely a fabrication. The final note of Ty's masterpiece rang out through the silence of the night. Looking toward my companions, it became clear that he had not failed to tug the heartstrings of a single one of us, as evidenced by the tears on each of our faces. Ty looked up from his guitar, smiling gently and patiently waiting in anticipation of our response. Feeling a degree of responsibility as Ty's partner, I spoke up first with the hope that I would be speaking on behalf of us all. That was so beautiful. Such a cool idea for a sad song. Where'd you come up with something like that? It was inspired by a tale I heard once. It resonated strongly with me, so much so that I explored it in song. I don't know what to say. Bravo, that was impeccable. And I'm sure these guys feel the exact same way. Thank you, Aiden, and I apologize if the subject matter was a touch too heavy, Axel. So sad. Poor guy. It's okay, Ax, it's just a story. Nobody lives forever. I know, but... Oh dear. It would seem wise if that were the only song I played. I should have chosen something a tad lighter. Thanks for playing, dude. You're totally amazing. I'm so stoked we got to see it. Yeah, thanks, Ty. That was beyond incredible. It was my pleasure, gentlemen. A good half hour had passed since Ty's performance, with the vast majority of that time spent trying to distract Axel and cheer him back up. Ty had prepared each of us a piping hot glass of delicious cocoa, and Russell had worked tirelessly to keep the conversation flowing. In general, our efforts had borne fruit. Through our more recent shift into telling scary stories by the fireside, perhaps wouldn't go down as the finest idea we'd ever had. Ty had told a few stories he had accumulated over the years. He then asked if anyone else knew any. Nobody spoke up, so in a skillful demonstration of thinking on my feet, I recalled the nightmare I'd had several nights prior. And then his heart broke by the hurtful words his lover had spoken. The wolf grew defiant. The man I love would never say such things, he said to himself before proceeding onward into the dimly lit hallways. Of course, in an attempt to avoid things getting weird, I changed up the species where required and offered no names. Only moments before a pathway ahead began to grow brighter. Expecting to find his lover, he leapt forward, confronting the light's source. But alas, it was the raccoon and his simian companion, the latter of which wore an expression of patient malice. No, not him again! This is ironic as hell! This is ironic as hell. Looking towards the group, Ty was smiling gently, his head resting in his hand. Russell was leaning forward, thoroughly engrossed in the story, and Axel looked nervous as he anxiously chewed the claws atop his fingers. I worried I was making things worse, but I was so close to the end of the story, I owed it to Russell and Ty to finish what I started. The three pressed onward, finally coming to a big iron door at the end of the path. With a nervous gulp, the wolf and raccoon ventured inside. What they hadn't noticed was that the simian had closed the door behind them, sealing them inside. Oh no! Bad monkey! I briefly acknowledged my amusement that the simian character was Axel's very own stand-in. Thankfully, the real thing was so much sweeter than the version from my nightmare. The raccoon and wolf explored the room, which turned out to be none other than an ancient torture chamber, and worse still, the wolf turned, seeing something that made his blood run cold. There, his lover, the lion, stood bound against this cobblestone wall, his teeth bared in anger. Oh no! I feared for Axel's claws as his chewing accelerated. I had to finish fast, lest he work his way down and begin on his fingers. The raccoon rushed to the lion's aid when crunch! The lion lunged forward, his bindings having just enough give for his teeth to clamp down onto the raccoon's neck. The raccoon slumps to the ground, blood pooling where he lay. No! Not the raccoon, he was my favorite! Damn, dude, this is some totally crazy shit. Wish I brought popcorn. The wolf ran to the only exit to find the door had been sealed, and then suddenly, a chilling voice catches the wolf's attention. He spins in place and bears witness to a jet-black raven with blood-red eyes. The raven mocked the wolf as the lion began to growl, his temper on the rise. The wolf came to terms with his fate. If the raven wanted him dead, there was nothing he could do to stop him. There was no escape. Accepting the inevitability of his demise, the raven speaks once more. This time is up. Suddenly, the lion tears free of his bindings. Stomp, stomp, stomp. He closes in on the wolf, unleashing a deafening roar. Then, until everything fades to black. The end. The wolf dies? What about the lion? What happened to him? Does that stupid monkey get what's coming to him? Scary stories don't usually have happy endings, Axe. But that's no fair! Gerd, that monkey needs a good spanking. Wait, what? Oh my. Dude, totally don't think that means what you think it does, Axe. What else could it mean? Russell failed to conceal an expression of amusement, but nonetheless declined to answer Axel's question. Axel's genuine confusion was adorable, and I was thankful that my story hadn't quite scared him as much as I'd worried it would. Too innocent. He's too precious for this world. Looking back towards Ty, I noticed him stifle a huge yawn. I reached into my pocket and retrieved my phone. It might be time for us to hit the hay. It's past midnight, and Ty's looking like he might have spiked his mug of cocoa with sleeping powder. I can assure you that while this peerless recipe has a way of calming those who consume it, there is no sleeping powder present in the beverage. It's so chocolatey, my dude. What's the recipe? Remind me to give you a copy when we get back to Woodquest. It is a recipe belonging to a friend of mine, one I am sure he would approve of me sharing. Sweet. Man, I better be careful. I also like to drink it every day and get a little fat. Indeed, too much creamer tends to wreak havoc on the waistline. But alas, despite a total absence of sleeping powder, I nonetheless find myself feeling weary. Perhaps it is past time to wrap things up and retire for the evening. But wait! But what about the monkey? Jeez, thanks Aiden, dude. You got Axe here totally hyped up and now all I can think about is... now all I can think about is spanking the monkey. I'm gonna Google that real quick as I can. Oh, don't worry, I'm dying. Hang on. Yeah, I googled that, and I regret it. I completely failed to He restrained an undignified snort, which, in turn, set Ty off laughing as well.
Self-voicing enabled. Aiden, good luck dude. Don't spank your monkeys all night, you'll need your energy for the walk back home, day. Russell, I'll make sure he, keeps his hands where I can see them, my dudes. Night. Aiden.
Good night, you two.
Disabled.
Ty made an attempt to say goodnight, only to be thwarted by his own laughter once more. Once Russell and Axel disappeared into their tent and Ty had regained some semblance of function, we extinguished the campfire and made our way into our own tent. Again, don't know what's going to come up, but yeah, that was hilarious. Sealing the entrance cut off nearly all light from the outside. Ty's tent was clearly made of dense and high-quality materials. We blindly attempted to locate our sleeping bags. I had lost my bearings somewhat and reached out in front of me, feeling something soft. I'm afraid that is my backside and not your sleeping bag. Just what I needed, though. A warm, soft pillow. Finally, I located a bag and made an attempt to squeeze into the opening. It was a rather tight fit. Jeez, is this a children's sleeping bag or something? I feel wrapped up like a mummy. Oh dear, I am afraid the fit is a little on the smaller side. I had not realized when I packed it. I do hope it will not be a problem for you. I mean, I suddenly recalled having seen both of our bags when we first arrived on the camp. The bag belonging to Ty was much larger than ordinary. Could I have made do with this one? Surely I could have, but I didn't rightly want to when I knew what the alternative would be. It's just too tight. It's kind of hard to breathe. Oh no, what am I going to do? Do you honestly think I'm that gullible? Come on then. It is rather cold out tonight. I'm certain that our combined warmth will only benefit us both. I grinned, not that Ty could see it, and slid out of my sleeping bag. I crawled over to him, being very careful not to elbow him in the face as I did. Finally, I found where I needed to be and began to get inside when my hand touched Fur. Odd, was he not lying where I thought he was? I moved my hand around trying to ascertain his position in the darkness. Moving up, I still felt Fur, so I shifted left. Fur again. I set my hand down further and felt something. Oh. You're naked, aren't you? Of course, how else would I sleep? Do not tell me you are planning to sleep in your clothing. Only slightly embarrassed, I began removing my clothing to match Ty before sliding into the sleeping bag with Ty. Ty. Ty chuckled, wrapping his arms around me tightly as I nuzzled my nose into the soft fur of his neck. I felt so warm and at ease in his embrace, his unique scent serving only to further my feelings of comfort and security. I smiled. If there was such a thing as heaven, I'd found it in Ty's arms. RIP headphone users. Yeah? He was free. Frozen still in abject horror, I could do little but watch as he closed the distance between us with big, lumbering steps. Yeah, I just realized what was going on. I think you already know. If you look back to Diego's shenanigans, I think you already know. I'm just gonna die. The campsite. Day 12. Bad show. Horribly bad show. As we approached, we saw both Axel and Russell sitting by a lit campfire. It was an icy cold morning, as evidenced by Axel's heavier choice in clothing than the day prior, and his constant shivering as he held his hands out in front of the fire. Russell, meanwhile, was retrieving the freshly cooked meal from the frying pan, dividing it between 4 disposable plates. He had no doubt located the ingredients in Axel's pack and had taken the initiative to prepare breakfast for us all. Although there was something that bothered me about the situation, but I couldn't quite figure out what. Gentlemen, good morning to you both. Morning, Ty. Sup, my dude. I don't know if Lucas and Axel and Dom's routes are similar to what Ty and Diego's. Actually, let me check real quick. Yeah, Ty's route only goes up to day 19. Sup, my dude. Good morning. Hope you're, like, hungry. Of course. I'm not... Ty snuck me a subtle wink while Axel looked mildly confused. Russell, however, seemed strangely unfazed. Thankfully, Ty spoke up once more, shifting the topic away before either could inquire further. Although I would have been more than happy to prepare it myself, there really was no need. I totally knew you'd say that, dude. That's, like, why I started cooking before you woke up. I see. Well, thank you, Russell. That was most kind of you. No sweat, my dudes. Ty and I sat down beside Axel, soaking in the warmth of the fire as Russell finished plating our meals. The fire was... Wait, the fire? Hey, Russell? Yeah? How'd you get the fire lit? Seemed as though Ty hadn't considered my question until I'd asked it. Judging by the sudden and jarring shift in his expression, he remained silent, eyes locked on Russell as he endured the agonizing wait for his response. Oh, well, you see, I think we got the packs mixed up last night when we went to bed. I opened mine up this morning to grab a bottle of water, and there was Ty's red sweater thingy. Uh-oh? Figured he must have, put it in my bag by mistake or something, so I went digging. And I found a whole-ass fire-making kit in there, too. Dear me, that is right. I cannot believe I forgot that I had packed a spare. How very foolish of me. It would seem as though we never needed to venture into the forest after all. Haha. It was Ty's worst bluff yet. Surely Russell couldn't fall for that. Surely. All that hard work for nothing. But of course Axel had. Anyway, Axel had bacon and eggs in his pack, so I figured I'd, get in first before Ty could insist. I also found some vegetables in Ty's pack, so I made an omelet. I see, all's well that ends well, right? Totally, dude. He had seen Ty's sweater vest, the very same one Ty had dirtied the night prior, and he figured out that Ty had spare materials all along. Russell hadn't said anything, but I felt as though he'd put two and two together. And judging by Ty's nervous smile, he had come to the very same conclusion. There was an eerie silence for a literally brief yet seemingly eternal moment before Russell finally broke the tension. Breakfast time, dudes! Russell handed us our plates, each containing an omelet with bacon and several different vegetables mixed in. The eggs seemed perfectly cooked and well seasoned. I couldn't wait to dig in. Thank you, Russell. Yeah, thanks, Russ. This looks so yum. You're totally welcome, dudes. Dig in. I thanked Russell as well before Ty took his first bite, resulting in the emergence of a familiar look of surprise. He impatiently chewed his mouthful and swallowed it down before addressing the matter at hand. My goodness, Russell! This is absolutely outstanding! Axel, who was similarly finishing his first mouthful, beamed brightly at Russell's direction. It is yum! I didn't know you were such a good cook, Russ. Curious as to just how good it could possibly be, I followed suit, shoveling a generous spoonful of omelet into my mouth. Holy cow! I think Dom's curried egg sandwiches might just have competition. Shucks, my dudes. I'm glad you all, like it so much. Maybe Dom and I ought to team up and make a curried egg version or something. Whoa. Yes, please. That would be so delicious. Oh, hi, Bobby. My dog just came in here. He's crazy. Curried egg? I cannot say I've tried one of Dom's before. Are they good? Huh? Didn't you... I thought back, absolutely certain that Dom had given Ty a sandwich at some point, but then I recalled it was just a part of that stupid nightmare. Never mind. I got to try one for the first time yesterday morning, and yeah, they're totally amazing. I see. Ty seemed to get lost in his own thoughts. I couldn't help but wonder what he was scheming. If you do make such a thing, would it trouble you to make one for me as well? I'll be most curious to try it. If it is as good as Axel says it will be, perhaps I may even wish to buy the recipe from you and put it on the menu at my bar? Really? That'd be, totally amazing. I'll definitely let you know. You could be, a famous chef. Speaking of the bar, I wonder how Diego is faring. I've never left him in charge for quite this long before, and it is not like there's cell phone reception out here if something had gone terribly awry. On one hand, Diego was hardly the type that appeared responsible, but on the other hand, I knew that in a pinch he had a funny way of exceeding your expectations. Nonetheless, I too wondered how things were going back home. Oh god, my dog's being weird. Hey, yo. Shit, goddamn snake. I plonked my phone down on the countertop with an exasperated sigh. Stupid game. I could never go out and farm any gems without running the risk of some snake coming out of absolutely nowhere and kicking my ass. Just let me distract myself, damn it. I'd expected things would be quiet, but I reckon the reality was even quieter still. Last night was borderline extinct, and this morning so far had remained entirely unchanged. There's only so many times I could dust down the damn counter. I sighed again and reached for my phone once more, only to be interrupted by the sound of the door. Finally, praise be, a damn customer. I left my phone on the counter and briskly rushed towards the register before turning toward the entrance to greet my newfound company. Morning, welcome to... Oh, shit. A very good morning to you. It was him. It was the dude. What was his name again? Stanley? No, Spencer. Right, it was Spencer. Hey, man. Man? How delightfully informal. Oh, sorry. No apologies are necessary, my friend. So, what can I get for you? Whiskey? We've just got this real nice bottle and imported directly from Ortega. Dry with notes of cinnamon and spice. Just the thing for a cold morning. As enticing as that may sound, I was under the impression your liquor license was only effective from noon. Shit, you're right. My bad. Shit, this is going horribly. Okay, Diego, think. What else can I do to loosen his tongue? Actually, I was hoping to speak to the owner of the establishment. Is he present? Oh, no, he's out of town at the moment, with his boyfriend. They went camping. He'll be back at work tomorrow, I think. With his boyfriend, you say? Aiden, was it not? Eh? You know Aiden is Ty's boyfriend? That surely can't be a good thing. Yeah, that's him. How very sweet. I do so hope the two of them are having a lovely time. I shall return tomorrow, then. Thank you for your time, Diego. You knew my name? How? What? How did you know my name? I was indulging my passion for top-shelf spirits on your very first day working here, my friend. I may be many things, but forgetful I most certainly am not. Spencer delivered a cordial bow before turning away and heading back towards the exit. I panicked a bit, not wanting to let him get away without at least learning something. Hey, should I let Ty know you visited? No, it is quite alright. It would be best if my visit were unannounced. And with that, the seemingly frail Raven departed the bar, leaving me all alone once more. Didn't even buy nothing. Ugh, typical. So damn typical. He knew my name, but I guess it made sense. He knew Aiden, but they had met already. I guess neither of those things meant anything much. But how did he know Ty and Aiden were dating? It was only a recent thing, and they were both kind of quiet about it in the beginning. And what did he mean when he talked about his visit being unannounced? That's some super eerie-sounding shit. Damn, I've got to call Aiden about this and let him know. I returned to the spot on the counter where I'd left my phone and picked it up, selecting Aiden's name in my contacts. Shit. Straight to voicemail, of course. Must be somewhere super remote or some shit. I knew there'd be a ton of walking involved. I groaned, returning my phone to the countertop once again. I had no idea what time they'd be getting back. I could send him a message, but, I'll tell him when I get home. Might for the best anyway, otherwise Ty might read it. Knowing Ty would probably just get pissed off that I brought it up or something. Stupid Tiger and his stupid secrets. Spencer would be returning the following day, and Aiden was on the roster with me. Maybe it would be the day where we'd finally get some damn answers. Having finished our delicious breakfast, the four of us had extinguished our fire and dismantled the camp before stuffing our tents and other belongings into our packs in preparation for the long walk back home. Well then, gentlemen, is everything accounted for? Yep, I'm all packed. Let's roll out, dudes. With matching cheerful grins, Russell and Axel turned tail and commenced their journey, anticipating that we would be following closely behind, but instead I took one last look out the horizon, at Sidonia. The years I'd spent there already felt like a distant memory. Aiden, are you ready to go? Yeah, but... Yes? What is it? Promise me we'll come back here one day, just the two of us. With a loving smile, Ty planted a tender kiss on my cheek before confirming his commitment. I promise, just the two of us. I smiled back at him as I slung my pack over my shoulder, indicating my readiness to proceed. With the nod of confirmation from Ty, we began to follow the now distant visage of a cheetah and a shark chattering happily between themselves, the four of us beginning the long walk back to civilization. We're actually going to leave off here tonight. It's early, but I have stuff that I need to do tomorrow. You know, work. Okay, let me check my thing real quick. My job schedule. Okay, get off at 3 tomorrow. It was just all shenanigans. That's all it was. It genuinely was. Okay. Oh, yeah, the job really isn't that hard. It's just boring as hell. But no, I'm, like, looking at my schedule, and, yeah. I might do a, game development stream tomorrow. Because I need to create a CG. Like an illustration. Yeah, I need to make an illustration. So yeah, I will, tweet out the time sometime tomorrow for the, game dev stream. It will not be at 3 or 3:30. No. Definitely not. Because that's actually what time I get off work. 3. Yay. But no. It'll probably be around, like, 4 or something. You're on there. But that's... I can't think of anything else. So, stay safe. Have a good night. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.